Hello, horse girls and guys. Welcome back. I know I haven't been here in a while, but we're back today, and I figured we could, change it up a little bit and get out of my bedroom because it's a mess in there right now, and I just don't feel like sitting on the floor. So here we are in the living room today in my chair, and yeah, we're just gonna chat. So grab your cup of coffee if you don't have one. I am drinking black coffee today, and I'm not a fan, but I ran out of coffee creamer, and I just don't want to go buy some right now. So this is what we're gonna suffice with. Oh my gosh. So I put like this syrup in it because at Walmart they have like those Torani syrups. And so I bought one. I bought like the brown sugar one or something. Didn't realize till I got home that it was sugar free. So it just has like that sugar free taste. But I just can't figure out how to use them right. And that's the only thing I had. So I put it in my black coffee. And it's not horrible, but it's just kind of like, not quite there. I don't know how people like, I understand men, because men are just like a different species, but how people just like drink black coffee. Like there were some coworkers at my old job that just drank black coffee, and I'm like, how do you do that? Why do you do that? How is that even enjoyable? Like for me, the whole like coffee thing for me is just that it is good and it's warm and it's relaxing to drink in the morning because it's good and it's warm, you know? And I don't know, it's become like my morning ritual and stuff. Like I do it every morning. I look forward to it every morning, especially when it's cold out. So like, I'm definitely not addicted to coffee. Like there are mornings that I run out of coffee grounds, or if I don't have creamer and I just don't feel like black coffee, I will just not drink coffee and I will be fine. Like a piece of me in the morning feels like it's missing. Like there's something out of place, which kind of puts me in like an uncomfortable mood, so I'm not at my best that morning. But it's not like the caffeine or the coffee that like I have to have. It's more so just like that it is my routine and I look forward to it every morning because it's a delicious hot cup of coffee. Not because like I have to have the caffeine or something, Nothing like that. But there are people in my life that I think they think I'm addicted to coffee just because of that. Oh. Sorry, I am going to be probably yawning because it's 8:30 in the morning. I just woke up. But anyways, because I get so stressed out and bummed when I don't have it in the morning, I think people assume that I am like addicted to it somehow, but I'm really not. Like if I don't have it, my day will continue and I will feel fine. I will feel totally normal. But it's just the fact that like that's my morning cup of coffee and now I don't get it this morning. But I'm trying to choke down this cup of black coffee and it's just not good. It's just not good. My stepdad drinks like a pot of black coffee a day. At least he used to. I'm not quite sure if he does anymore. He was diagnosed with stomach cancer a couple years ago now, maybe. But he's had like several surgeries on his stomach, and then I think he had another surgery earlier this year. So there's like a bunch of stuff he can't eat anymore, and I don't know if coffee is one of them or not, but based on how coffee goes straight through you, I would imagine he probably can't drink that much anymore. But he used to drink like a lot of coffee every day. But yeah, so I hope you guys are having a good fall spooky season so far. Today is the 7th, I think, October 7th. And I will say that I am very happy with this month so far. I dread fall because fall means that winter is coming, but we have had really great weather so far. It's been really great riding weather. I haven't really been riding, but this month we have a few things going on. This weekend, I think I'm gonna go to the horse ranch that I volunteer at, and they have a really busy weekend of trail rides, so I'm gonna go down and help. Sorry, I gotta go on. And then Sunday, I had something going on Sunday, and I don't remember what it is now. What is Sunday, the 10th? I don't remember what it was. Next weekend, I think is the 15th, 16th. There's trail rides on both of those days next week. So I kind of want to go to both of them. Our club ride is on Saturday, and then we're doing like a potluck and stuff afterwards, which is something I really like about our club. Is that like at the end of the riding season or whatever, when the shows are done, sometimes we have a November trail ride, but it's not always guaranteed, obviously, with the weather. So our October trail ride, which could be the last one, we usually do like a campfire or like a potluck, and everybody just hangs out and drinks and eats and stuff like that, and it's really nice, and I really enjoy that about our saddle club. It kind of makes like a little community and just like where people can hang out and get to know each other and stuff. So that's on Saturday. And then my boyfriend wants to go play laser tag after that. On Sunday, there is a big ride. Not too far from here. I kind of know the gal that hosts it, but she puts it on, and like all of the proceeds or whatever, it's like $5 a horse. So whatever proceeds they make go to their local saddle club. And so I kind of want to go to that as well. I haven't been to that ride before, and I know it's pretty big and it's fun. She had it last year too, but I had COVID last year, so I couldn't go, which was really disappointing because I think I just literally sat in my house all day that day. But I figure that's a great opportunity to ride 2 horses that weekend. Why not like get some trail rides in before, the cold sets in? So hopefully my weekends will be busy enough. I'm trying to think what's after that. I do know there is like some endurance and competitive trail rides going on as well, but I don't know that I'm going to make it to those, honestly, just because I don't want to spend the money on fuel, driving there and back, and entry fees, because my budget's a little bit tight right now. But there's also a Halloween parade at the end of the month that I want to go to, in like a few towns over. They're doing a Halloween parade at like 5:30 at night. And so I think that would be fun. We ended up doing a parade last weekend on Saturday, here in the town I live in. And they did just like a fall festival parade. And so me and my friend Melanie took BB and Sugar, and we rode through the parade, and we handed out like my business cards and stuff. But that was pretty fun. It got kind of hectic at one point because like we were letting people pet the horses and whatever. But then when we got like down to Main Street, where there's just so many people, you would think like, I don't know, maybe it's just common sense to me because I'm a horse person. Oh my God, sorry. But I would think even non-horse people would understand that like you don't swarm horses. I mean, my horses are obviously fine, like they're not going to do anything, but a couple kids asked if they could pet the horse. I say, yeah, sure, come pet her on the shoulder right here. And then a couple more, and then a couple more, and then all of a sudden there's like 10 or 12 people all coming out into the street to pet BB, and I look back and they're doing the same thing to Melanie and Sugar, and there's all these people, like the parade keeps going. So we were just like, sorry guys, but we're gonna lose the parade, we gotta keep moving. And then of course more people are like, can we pet your horse? And I'm like, no, I'm sorry, like we have to keep up with the parade. So I told Melanie, like, let's just not let anybody pet them through this section. Like, it kind of sucks, like people love seeing the horses, but why, I was like, why would these people think that it is safe or a good idea for like 12, 15 of you come up at once? I mean, come on. So I just had to cut them off and keep moving. But overall, it was a good parade. I handed out a lot of business cards. But you know what's kind of nuts is like, I just like the people in my area, they're not horse people, I don't think. Like, I don't think there's really horse people here. There was a couple people that said that they, you know, would definitely reach out, but I couldn't even tell you how many business cards. Like, I put a huge stack of them in my bag. I made these little flyers to hand out, and we handed them out to a lot of people, and I have not heard anything from anybody. Like, it's kind of just nuts. And like this whole year has just kind of been dead for me, as far as clients and like lesson kids. My normal lesson kids like just stopped coming out this year. I don't know if it's because I moved or what, but I've had two that have come out pretty regularly all summer, but that's pretty much it. And I've advertised on like the local Facebook sites and all kinds of stuff, and like just nothing. And I've advertised my training a bunch. I had Dillis, and that was it. And yeah, and I mean, I only moved like 40 minutes away from where I was before, so I'm kind of just like, how is there such a difference? Like down there, I wasn't like, people weren't beating down my doors, but I had, you know, clients lined up throughout the summer, and I had a few different lesson kids. So it's just kind of crazy, like when you move and relocate, the difference in like, I don't know, the demographic here, I guess that's the wrong word, just the demand here is just different. But yeah, I mean, I've only been here a year, so I mean, it's gonna take time to like get my name out there. Where I came from, you know, that was like my hometown where I was born and raised. So like people knew my name, people knew like kind of who I was and that I was a horse person and stuff. So I think they were more inclined to reach out to me. Up here, people don't know me, so that could be why as well. But yeah, so we'll see what happens. I'd like to go to that Halloween parade and probably do the same thing. But yeah, today's Thursday. Last Thursday, I was gone again, because I have a good reason this time. Last Thursday, my dad and my grandpa came up and started building a shelter, so my horses will have shelter. I am vlogging right now, so if you guys watch the vlogs, I'll show it to you in the next vlog. But or actually, I don't know, you might see the vlog before this, I don't know, whatever most recent vlog, you'll see it in that. But some of you guys already know this, but last winter I dealt with BB shivering a lot, and mainly just because she was out there in that front dry lot, and the whole north side of our property is pretty open. Like, I don't know why they decided to set the house and everything on the north edge of the property. So it's the only side of our property that is not surrounded by trees. Well, that's where all of the wind comes from. The north wind just like hits us so hard in the wintertime. And that, I think, is pretty much the reason that BB would shiver. Grace was totally fine. She was a freaking mammoth and she never shivered, but BB would. So I went out and bought her a blanket because we didn't have any shelter or wind block for them. And of course I felt bad about it, but there was nothing I could do in the middle of winter. So we just had to deal. But this year I knew that I wanted a shelter put up, at least one permanent shelter put up before winter, so that my horses could have shelter, and then if I have any boarded horses, they could also have shelter. So my dad and my grandpa came up, and I had already put some of the posts in, like the telephone poles, like the corner posts. Oh my God, I'm yawning so much. I'm sorry. But I bought all of the lumber that my dad told me to buy. So him and my grandpa came up and they framed it all in. So I think now I just have to use tin and you know, side it, which should be pretty easy. My dad has a bunch of tin at his house, so he's gonna just give me that and we can use that. Oh my gosh, you guys, black coffee. I don't know how people drink that every day. Anyways, so that's what I did last Thursday. So I did not have time to sit down and record podcasts. I probably could have done it a different day that week, but yeah, my dad got here bright and early in the morning at like 8 a.m. And then they were here till like after 4 o'clock. So it was a full day's worth of building. So yeah. Other than that, like I have been burning a lot of stuff. I've been working on my other pasture fence. And so just like a bunch of random little projects. I probably am going to advertise again for winter board for like 1 or 2 horses. My old boarders wanted to bring one of their colts back. Odin, if you guys remember Odin, the little Palomino that was born here. Well, he's over a year old now, or actually he turns a year old this month, I guess. But they wanted to bring him back here so they could start working with him, like, and use the round pen and use the little riding area down there. So I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but they talked about it. And yeah, so I don't know. Lots of little projects that I've been working on here, but nothing overly exciting. Oakley broke out of her pen, I don't know, earlier last week. She broke out of her pen. I don't know exactly why or how she did it, but she literally just walked over the woven wire that is on the front side of her pen. And I didn't realize, like, I knew I had shut off the fencer, right? So I was working on my fence and I needed to switch out some insulators. So I took some insulators off over there and I put different ones on and I had to shut off the fencer. Well, I forgot to turn it back on. And she didn't even go through like the 3 strands of hot wire, which is normally what she goes through when it's off. She just literally like walked over the woven wire. It was all like smashed onto the ground and she just literally stepped on it and walked over it. But she was able to do it without getting shocked by the wire I have across the top. So she was in the yard, walking across the yard. And if you guys remember the last time Oakley got out, she literally just disappeared. Like she went on her own hike away from the other horses. She was like way down in one of the field waterways in the timber. And my boyfriend went looking for her and found her luckily. So I saw her walking across the yard and I was like, oh crap, like I need to get out there before she just takes off into the woods. And luckily she followed me into the round pen with a bucket of grain. So that was good. I got her in the round pen and she didn't go anywhere, but yeah, that horse, if the fence is not working or is off, she will figure it out. And that's what she did last time. It wasn't working, but so yeah, today, I had another update, which is what brought me to the topic of rescues today. I applied for, I think it's called the Arab 300 group, the Arabian 300 rescue group or something like that. I'll have to look it up. I applied to their group to be an adopter because I've seen their Facebook, postings and stuff of rescue horses, mostly Arabians or racking horses of some sort. But you do have to be an approved adopter. And so I applied, and actually a good friend of mine sent it to me and she even recommended me to them and I got approved. It was overall pretty easy. Like I just did the online application and then the advisor or whoever it was sent me a text and she just asked me some questions over text that I answered honestly. Just basic stuff like, do you have your own facility? do you plan on rehoming these horses, etc., etc.? And I asked my friend, because one of my friends has adopted several horses from their group, and I asked, like, is this one of those groups that, like, they make you sign a contract and then you're stuck with the horse forever, you have to return it to them or something, because I don't want nothing to do with that. And she said no. She's adopted several horses from them, and when she basically got kicked out of her barn or whatever and had to close down her business, she sold them and nobody really batted an eye. So that I was happy to hear, because I have a different friend that was working with some organization, rescue, not really sure, sanctuary type thing, that she agreed to foster 3 horses from them. I don't remember who they were, and I probably should say if I knew, but she fostered 3 horses from them and ended up having trouble with them. 2 of them were broke. One was like a little old pony and stuff. But she agreed, like, to foster them and they could come live there. And she rode, I know she rode at least one of them. But I don't know exactly why she wanted to give them back. And there was some contract or whatever that she had with them that if she couldn't take care of them or needed to return them, that they had to go back to this rescue. Well, she contacted them multiple times, and for whatever reason, there was one excuse after another, or they wouldn't respond. They wouldn't take these horses back. She, she gave them like a notice, I think, like, if you don't come get them within the next month, like, I'm just going to find new homes for them because I can't afford them. I don't want them here, whatever. And the rescue, like, just kind of blew her off, didn't do anything about it. They never came and got the horses. So ultimately, she found new homes for all 3 of them. And like 6 months later or something, they come looking for the horses. And I think she was honest and was just like, I rehomed them. You should have came and got them when I told you that I couldn't have them anymore. And they even sent me a text message because she put me down as a reference. They sent me a message asking me if I knew what she had done with the horses. And I had just ignored it because I was like, maybe y'all should have cared this much when she wanted to give them back. But, so I wanted to make sure that this rescue that I was applying to was not one of those, because I just don't want to deal with one of those. But my friend said they're definitely not like that. She has rehomed them before. And when I was talking to the girl over text, they actually seemed okay with me rehoming them. My response was, she asked if I planned on rescuing these horses permanently or rehoming. And I told her, anything that's young enough and I feel like would excel at a sport that I don't practice or would be best, like, used to their potential, I would be open to rehoming. I am always open, obviously, to rehoming horses if I feel like somebody else has better interest for them. Because there's a lot of young horses on this page, like 2-3-year-olds that, have been starved and stuff like that. So was totally honest about it. And I told her I have taken in rescues before as well that I feel like just need a soft landing and they can live out their days with me and I don't rehome them. So it all just depends on the horse. And they were totally fine with that. They just asked that if I do rehome, that I have like a solid, right of first refusal contract or a buyback contract or whatever, which is easy enough. I can find one of those online. So I'm glad to hear that, because I feel like it is a lot to ask your adopters. Like, if you adopt a horse through our program, you have to keep it forever. Like, that's how you get people to just not adopt, because not everybody can commit that way. And obviously, if you're going to adopt, like, it is nice and it's ideal to want to just plan on keeping these horses forever. But people like me that have a business, like, if I adopt these horses, whatever, break them out for a couple years, put a lot of great training on them, whatever, and then I don't have a need for them anymore, why wouldn't I rehome them to somebody that will use them, indefinitely, or possibly keep them forever? Especially because I'm kind of now entering the endurance world, and people love Arabs in the endurance world, so it's kind of a perfect mix. But yeah, so I applied for that. I'm very wary of rescues anymore as well because of my experience with Grace and Dixie. Well, I guess not Dixie. I didn't get Dixie from a rescue. I considered her a rescue because of her condition and how bad she looks. And actually, the girl that I bought her from rescued her. So it was a whole thing. But with Grace, if you guys have been here for a while, you kind of know the story of Grace. And I was definitely lied to about her age. And I should have like suspected it because her adoption pictures on this page's website, I followed this page for quite a while and I actually had seen Grace on their page. All right, it sounded like someone was outside. I had seen Grace on their page and had kept an eye on her for a while. I inquired about her once and they wanted like $2,200 for her, which was just out of my budget at the time, so I didn't, get her. But then like a month later, I saw her posted again on their page and that she was still available, so I inquired about her again and they only wanted $1,000 for her. So I was like, $1,000, like I can do that. They had her advertised as a gypsy vanner. So I was like, well, heck, I could do that. And she was a big horse. Like I could break her out and maybe my boyfriend could ride her or my dad could ride her or whatever. She could kind of take Soccer's place. So I go and get her, whatever. And when I go to pick her up, she was like 2 hours away from me too. So I drive there to pick her up and she's very skinny, like quite skinny. And I was like, well, she is a rescue, whatever. And it didn't occur to me till like way later after I had already bought her that like her adoption pictures like that they posted of her, she was not skinny. She was very healthy looking in those pictures. So when they picked her up from the sale barn, she was not skin and bones. When I picked her up from this rescue, she was skin and bones. So it became apparent to me later on that she lost all that weight at the rescue. So they dropped her adoption fee because they probably wanted to get rid of her because she needed more feed than what they were probably giving her. She was losing weight and wasting away and they needed to get rid of her. And I asked her while I was there, I was like, how old is she again? And they told me 10 to 12. Well, sorry, I know that's gross. It like the longer that I owned Grace, it was very apparent she was not 10 to 12. I took her to my dad's and just put her out into the pasture with Soccer and Sugar because I was like, well, I don't know the reason that she's skinny. If she just wasn't being fed or was being fed way too little or whatever. Being on pasture where she can eat 24/7, we'll try this. After like a month, she had gained no weight. She was still skin and bones and she was just like so just like dead inside. Just she had no personality. She kind of just existed. She never whinnied. She was just so like mundane. And so I brought her home. She was the only horse here. I had just finished fencing in that little lot, so I just brought her home and immediately started feeding her, and I got her weight back up and she started like just becoming a different horse. She would whinny at me. She would come trotting up the hill for dinner time and whatever. And I slowly started to get her weight back up. But she got a lot of food, you guys. She got beet pulp. She got like 2 scoops at a time of senior feed. And I like slathered oil on there and weight builder powder. And oh my gosh, she was an insanely hard keeper. And even my dad had told me once, like when she was at his house, he was like, Michaela, I think she's old. And I was like, well, they told me she was only 10 to 12. So I don't know if she's just a really hard keeper or if they were starving her or what. Sorry, I gotta restart this. But she should only be 10 to 12 years old. But then after bringing her home and stuff, I started noticing the things too, just about her personality. She was very quiet. She was very mellow. She just acted like an old lady, you know? So I also was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure she's just probably old, and they probably lied to me because she was such a hard keeper and she was losing all this weight and they needed to get rid of her, so they dropped her price by $1,200 to get her somewhere. And I definitely don't think she was a gypsy banner either. I think she was probably like a spotted draft or something. But and then my vet came out early this year to do her teeth because she started like bleeding from her mouth. I don't know if you guys remember that, but it turned out to just be that she was sensitive to foxtail. But he came out and did her teeth while he was here, and one of her teeth literally just came out. Like it was loose and wobbly in there, so he just pulled it out. And he was like, yeah, no, a 10 to 12-year-old horse, even a horse in their late teens, their teeth would not just basically fall out like this. So I was like, yeah, they definitely lied to me then. And she's old. But the one thing that irritates me about the rescue I got her from, because I still follow them on Facebook and stuff, is that they claim that they're a rescue. And rescue is not in their name or anything. They have not put, like, they don't have a public 501c3. Like, you can't find that anywhere. They've never claimed to be nonprofit. They do it to make a living, which I think is fine if you're doing it right. I would call myself, well, I guess I'm not going to call myself a rescue, but they call themselves a rescue. They advertise themselves as a rescue. They rescue these horses from the kill pen and whatever. And I feel like they are using that term rescue to pull on people's heartstrings and, you know, tell people about how all the good they're doing in the world and whatever, when they're not really a rescue. Like, I know that rescue just means you're saving something from a bad situation, but when people think rescue, they associate it with either a nonprofit, 501c3, whatever, not horse traders. And I don't have a problem with horse traders. I could call myself a horse trader because I buy project horses, I train them, flip them, whatever, and then I resell them. I don't think there's anything wrong with being a horse trader, but just call yourself a horse trader then. Call yourself, you know, so-and-so horse sales. Like, not, you know, we're a rescue and whatever, and all of our money goes back into the horses and this and that. No, it doesn't, because you are making a living off of it. Like, you are profiting from these horses. So you're buying them super cheap at the sale barn or whatever, and then you're selling them for an insane amount of money after your daughter has ridden them 3 times. Because they post pictures of like their daughter riding all these horses. It's like, so you buy them, you feed them for a month, your daughter rides them a few times, and then you sell them for twice what you bought them for. I mean, some of their horses are like $4,500. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna buy a rescue for $4,500. You don't know where the horse came from. You don't know if they're bred, if they've, you know, because these horses get bred in the freaking loose pins. You don't know what injuries they've had in the past. Like, you hardly know anything about these horses. So just because you've ridden them 3 times, that's great and all. The 4th time you get on them, they could have a bucking fit because they've got a bad back or they've got kissing spine or something. And my friend Nicole, I don't know if you guys know my friend Nicole, I kept BB at her house for a long time. She actually went to look at one of their horses as well, and she had asked them, you know, if they were vetted and stuff, if this horse she was looking at was up to date on the shots and whatever. They literally told her, yeah, we actually don't do that because everybody likes to do their own thing, and so we don't get any of them vetted out. And my friend Nicole was like, are you kidding? Like, you have horses coming in and out of this place every single month, like trailer loads from the sale barn, and you don't get any of them vet checked because you like to do your own thing? No, that's called being cheap, and you're looking to make a quick buck after you sell these horses. so you're not going to put the money into them. So you don't know if these horses have been exposed to any contagious illnesses, if they have any diseases, nothing. So that irritates me. And the fact that I was victim to it with Grace because they lied about her, I just don't think that's right. If you're gonna be a horse trader or a horse flipper or whatever, just say that. Just call yourself whatever horse sales, whatever horse trading. There's nothing wrong with that. There are a lot of horse traders out there that are good people, and they get the horses in, they put the time and the effort and the training into them, they get them healthy, and they resell them. Just because somebody is considered a horse trader doesn't mean that they're a bad person or that they're doing things the wrong way. There are definitely people that do them the wrong way, like this, but that doesn't give all horse traders a bad rap. I follow a girl on Facebook, actually. Her name is Katie's Corral, and I don't know where she's from, but I've followed her page for a long time, and she has always got horses for sale on there that I don't know if they are projects that she's bought or whatever, but she gives a full lengthy description about each one. She answers all of your questions about them, and, she seems very reputable. So, just because somebody is in horse sales or horse trading or whatever doesn't necessarily mean that they are dishonest. But a lot of them are, because of people like this that claim they're a rescue and whatever, and really they're just looking to buy trailer loads of horses from the kill pen and sell them for twice the amount to people who have a soft heart like myself. So that's why I'm skeptical of rescues these days. And even my vet has said, he hates to, bag on rescues, but some of them these days, they're not trustworthy. And don't get me wrong, guys, I would love to run a rescue one day. I would love to turn this place into horse training and then also a rescue on one end, because I love the idea of saving these horses, these sick, injured horses that nobody wants, that have probably worked their entire life, have gave their entire life to humans, and have just been dumped in these pens. Probably like Grace, honestly. I don't know if Grace was ever broke or not, but she was probably dumped in the loose pen because she was obviously healthy and fat in her adoption pictures. She probably got dumped in the loose pen because she was so hard to feed and so hard to keep weight on. And she probably gave her whole life to these people just to dump her in the loose pen, and then look where she ended up at this rescue that just didn't feed her. And I'm glad that I got to give her the last year and a half of her life of just being cared for and loved and have a retirement home where she could enjoy her life. But, not all those horses are that lucky. So, I love the idea of rescuing. It's just, it's not realistic or feasible. I don't know how they do it. I know they live off of donations, but it's how do you get people to donate? How do you convince people to donate? You obviously have to have a 501c3 or claim yourself as a nonprofit and have proof of it for people to even feel comfortable donating. I never donated to the rescue I got Grace from, but every single month they would fundraise. I should have mentioned that earlier, actually. They would fundraise every month. They would have one of those Facebook things or a GoFundMe where you could donate to their monthly loose pin hole. So basically they would get half, if not all of the horses paid for before they went to the sale barn that month. They'd buy all these horses with the money that they raised, and then they would resell them later. So they actually were probably getting all the horses paid for. They were literally just making money. And that, to me, that is just so shady. And then not even giving the horses vet care. So, oh man. So yeah, if you're looking to adopt or rescue, just do the research on the rescue before you do it. I'm all about rescuing, but yeah, really need to look into the rescues these days and where they're coming from and what they even know about these horses. And it's just unfortunate. But this group that I'm in. It's like Arabian feedlot and auction rescues or something on Facebook. They're always posting these horses that are stuck in feedlots all over the United States and that they need rescuing or whatever. And usually they're pretty cheap, but people donate to help with the transportation of the horses. And then they obviously need people to volunteer homes. So, you know, I volunteered a home. I'm not going to be spending $1,000 on a rescue horse, but, you know, if one comes along that's a few $100s or whatever, and we can get transportation organized, then sure, I would be happy to rehome one or home one. There was a couple available in Iowa that was only a couple hours away from me, but there was 2 of them and they needed to go together, and I just don't want to take on 2 of them right now. But yeah, we'll see if it comes of anything. It might not, but I also obviously want to do Mustangs maybe next year. I don't know if I'll get to it next year or not, but I do want to adopt a Mustang at some point, but I need to get like the fencing and stuff. And I don't know if I want to start working on that this fall. Probably not. Like, it doesn't make any sense for me to start working on that this fall, but maybe in the spring start working on getting the fence, because really the only things that I need are the 6-foot fence and a shelter. And in Iowa, they have like, on the website, they have the different requirements by your state. And in Iowa, a shelter is considered a structure with 3 sides and a roof. So in some different states that don't have like as severe of weather or anything, you can have like just a roof and 2 sides or something like that. But yeah, so I have to get that figured out before I can be approved to adopt. So for yearlings, you only have to have a 5-foot fence, but for anything older than that, you have to have a 6-foot fence. So I need to get 6-foot panels from somewhere. I know the feed store here in town like has corral panels and stuff, or round pen panels, but I don't know how tall they are. So I'll have to check that sometime. And the area, the like pen holding area that you have for the Mustangs you're adopting has to be like at least 20 feet by 20 feet. So yeah. And I don't know like where I want to put a pen either. I have to figure out like where on my property I'd even want to put this pen. So yeah, I have some figuring out to do, but hopefully next year. So, but anyway, you guys, I've been talking for almost 45 minutes now, so I think I'm gonna get off here. That's about all of the updates I had anyways. But keep an eye out for the vlog. I should have one coming this week, and let me know what else you guys want to hear, either on this or in future videos. So don't forget to check out the description box down below. It's got all my social medias and my TikTok, my Buy Me a Coffee, where you can buy me a coffee or some coffee creamer so I don't have to drink this black coffee. Or donate to support the channel and the podcast. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next episode. Bye.